Hello and welcome to today's Material Musings. Thank you for joining me.
Welcome to Material Musings, where the fabrics tell their tales. Eco-dyed colors from the garden, slow stitches where the heart exhales. Painting cloth and weaving stories, wall hangings blooming bright. Come create with Amanda, where your creativity takes flight.
So welcome to today's session. So what we're going to be looking at is, the theme for the month is about finishing work and thinking about those projects that you'd like to even move on. I think when you look at the amount of stuff that you may have, it might not be physically possible for you to finish everything, especially when you think about getting into the flow of the work, and sometimes something that you think, okay, I've just got to do this small piece and it's going to take an hour. You know, sometimes the needle breaks, or you know, you can't find that particular bead, the beads that you were going to look for, and then that takes you 45 minutes to find because you didn't put it back when you should have put it back in the right place. And there's a number of things where we underestimate how long a thing will take, and sometimes we overestimate. And when we finish quicker than we think, you know, it's just like, oh, I got all this free time. And you know, it's not really free time. It needs to be allocated somewhere. So I looked at all the things that are sitting over there shouting my name, calling my name softly.
Come and play, stay a while, take a break.
In the distance. I looked at them all and realised that physically I cannot do them all. And even the way I work, I think it's an intuitive way, and I go by, well, this feels right, or these are the things I want to do. I'm not kind of prescriptive as to it's got to be these colours. Sometimes you're working with a colour and it's just like it doesn't feel right, so I need to find something else. So then that takes a bit longer. But again, if I allocate that within a project, the freedom to work more intuitively and think about what potential changes there may be, and sometimes there may not be. So I've got the other thing that I was going to do is that I felt like doing back and then when we were speaking was looking and sorting out some of the beads. So I've got a load of beads, wooden beads that I want to use. There's a project that is calling my name, but I don't know what it is. I want to do something with wooden beads, and I've got a variety of them, but they're all in different containers, and I want to bring them all together, and that felt like something that I would do. But it's also a nice way to look at the kind of beads that you have, and then there may be other projects that you hadn't necessarily considered using that supply on, but because you're looking at it, you're revisiting it, then something sparks your imagination, and it's like, oh, okay, I know what these are going to be used for. And I flow with that, because some of the best experiences can come from allowing things to kind of just flow, as it were. Anyway, so as I was looking for the beads, it was just like, am I feeling this or not? And there was a strong no. But I thought sometimes what happens is when you take them out, and actually, as I've just said, you know, you take them out and your interest is sparked. And I think the no was, where are you going to put them? And it just, because what I feel is going to happen, it's a bigger job than just sorting the wooden beads. It's, okay, if you're going to do these wooden beads, everything might as well be sorted, and you can, you know, reassess what you have, do need to make room by, you know, releasing some out into the world, or again, are there projects that need to have some of these beads on? And it's probably that. And it may be that even some of these projects I'm yet to finish are ones that, like, are just calling out for some beading, or, you know, it could be ribbon, whatever it is, your supply that you're looking at in terms of fabric. Anyway, so what we're going to do is kind of look at the Kawandi, see where we've got with that, and then we'll go on to the beads. I won't keep you very long today, because this is kind of like a very, it's one of those tasks that is going to take a bit longer than I'm thinking, like half an hour. Anyway, so let's get to the table and let's look at the Kawandi. Okay, so this is where I've got to so far. I've done some stitching around the edge, and I have made, because of my haste in wanting to attach them both, I did stuff that I hadn't planned to do, and I wanted to, so I'll show you, and then what I'm going to have to do is just try and make it work for this piece. And then I'll show you some of the things that I might do. So what I had wanted to do was stitch this separately. If you do happen to look back or watch some of the other videos, I had said that I wanted to do some couching around the images because there's slight gaps there. So I can still do it as is, but obviously the back now is not going to be as I wanted it to be with the stitches, and I'll show you the back in a minute. I always like seeing the back of pieces. So what I should have done, I feel, is done what I needed to do to this piece and then brought them together. And what I may then have ended up in doing is a lot of the stitching that I'm now having to do. And what's happened is, because when I laid it down in my haste, I didn't make sure that it was in the middle, and also there's puckering at the back. So as I'm stitching this around, like as I was going around there, I wasn't paying attention to the tension in the fabric. And so that's what we're going to find. There's going to be areas in the back of the material where it's going to be like, you know, let's look. As you can see, this is what the back looks like. So I don't know, maybe I iron this flat, so wherever the crease lays, that's where it stays, and then I continue stitching. And obviously I've got the 4 faces here, yeah, so I didn't want to go over the faces, so I'm going in between. So that's what happens when you try and rush something, and the main aim of this is about the enjoyment, the relaxation, the therapeutic nature of slow stitching, etc. And having a piece that you're going to really love once it comes out, you know, once you've finished it. So I'll say, you know, that's one of the things I learn. And as you grow in your stitched journey, you know, there's definitely, as I say, learn the technique, and then if you want to break it afterwards, that's fine, but learn the techniques to begin with. And so this has taught me big time not to rush things. What I can't, as I said, do now is have both sides showing. So what I'm going to do is just stitch it and then apply another backing. I had wanted to, because I had stenciled this backing, incorporate it. It does look quite nice, and I wanted to kind of be able to keep that. But this is no longer, for me, it's no longer viable. So we move to the next phase, yeah? And so the next phase for me is just to continue stitching. And once I get to kind of like these bits, I'm just gonna kind of stitch around, and try and make the front as flat as possible. The back, as I say, will be the creased up, but you're not going to notice it once I then add another backing. But you are going to see the stitches, and then just act as if this was just one piece, and then I can still do the couching here or whatever else, however else I want to add to it. And I'm not looking to try and rush this through next week. I'm just going to continue working on it, and each week I'll just show you where I've got to. Sometimes I've realised that I've not been able to work on it for that week, but I'm gonna commit to doing a few stitches, at least go round and try and do an area, or like if I came here like this area, I would make sure that it all gets stitched down. So that's that. And then this piece, because it was a bigger piece and I cut it in half, this side is frayed, which is not too bad, fine, but it's wonky. So when I come to the bottom now, this is what I've got. But the top is straight. It's weird. The top is straight, and I think it's where I was just pulling the fabric, and I wanted to make sure. I think I'd stopped here with stitching along here on this fabric, Kawandi, and so I must have been pulling this down just to make sure it covered. So, you know, if I had needed to put another layer of these fabric pieces, then that's what I should have done. So that's the piece, yeah, so far. And I'm just going to continue stitching. It's not going to look perfect, and it doesn't have to, but I've learnt lessons for next time. And I do like the combination of the stitches. I do like this look. So next time what I'll do is, if I'm going to add a secondary piece on the start of a Kawandi, then I'm going to add these sort of like as, what do they call them? So add them after, and then just do tiny stitches around. So we'll see. Anyway, yeah, so that's that. So I was talking about the beads, so we'll have a look at those. So last week I was just like, oh yeah, you know, beads, let's start sorting. But again, that's another big problem. A big job. And I've located a lot of my wooden beads, and quite a few of them live in this container. Would you like to have a look? Yes, would you like to? Sorry. So there's one set in there. So let's just open these out. Oh, they're not all wooden, but it's nice to look at them anyway. And then as I was sorting out these, I've got about 6 of these containers with beads and stuff like that, buttons. And I just had visions of them falling and everything dropping on the floor, and me kind of holding my hands up in despair and just walking away. So it was just like, okay, let's take a step back. You know, obviously you need to be in the kind of frame of mind to do a big sort out, and evidently I'm not yet quite there, but I do want to look at what we've got. Some of them are vintage, go back quite a way, and some of them I've got at thrift stores, or I have bought online, like these ones, or I've bought clothing that has beads on them. And oh, we've got some shells here. But again, they would make lovely necklaces. I saw went to this exhibition, and it was the Wear Your Art, and there's an artist called Ricardo Skeet. So he works with a lot of the natural fibres and things like that, and he had some glass like crystals and things like that, but they were wrapped with like a bronze, is it bronze? That kind of wire, and they look so pretty, and these would look nice wrapped in that kind of thing, so you could have it as a necklace like that. Okay, so it's just creamed my hands. So I'm going to put back the ones that are obviously not wooden, but it's nice, as I say, to look at them, because there may be projects, like I do have a project with the green fabric and things like that. So one of the things that I might potentially do is try and colour code some of the, not colour code, but sort them by colour. Like even these, so these are ones that I made, and they are plastic wrapped with fabric and cord, but they came out pretty nice, and then I painted them. So there's that. These are just some general beads. These were picked up at the charity store. Got some nice glass beads there. These would make, I was thinking of making earrings, but they're too heavy for my ears, so it would probably be a necklace. These are some vintage ones. I've had some of these for over 30 odd years. I had loads more because I used to put beads in my hair. I used to use these ones, and I used to wear my hair in plaits. Just got 3 left out of. I used to wear red, gold and green beads, and that's all I've got left. What else? The shells can go. These are cowrie shells. Got some nice sizes, and I'd probably use these in a project, so I'll have to see. But there is also, maybe I need to get one of those really fine drills so I can make, even the smaller ones could make some nice earrings with them. I wouldn't mind some cowrie shell, some more cowrie shell earrings. Let's see. So we've got some more here. More shells, more cowrie shells. Okay, so it's whittling down. These are wooden. I think this is bone actually. I've had these again for over 30 odd years. This was part of a necklace. Right, what else have we got? These ones here as well. There, it looks like, well, it's not directly wood, is it? So we'll move them. And so we're left with these. And some tiny ones here. There's a few. Oh, and I think there was some in here, wasn't there? Yeah. So these ones could potentially go in one of these containers, and all I'll do is just move, say maybe this, in this top, in this one there's just metal. Let's come in a bit. So I can put this in. Should I put it in my everythings? Let me put it. Oh my. Got some beads trying to escape here. I was dismantling a ring. Okay, let's leave this. But one that's got metal in, I haven't got it here, but let's see where we can put them. I'll just put them in here. Okay, so these can go into this, and then they can all go together. This is almost like an everything's container. So what happens is, when you're not sure what you want to use, you go to this. This is stuff that should be put away. So then you just take from here and say, I'm going to try and use up as much as I can in one sitting, and see how far you get. And we've got some bobby pins in here as well. Hair clips, hairpins. I don't call them bobby pins. I know that's not an old-fashioned way of calling them. Anyway, so that's what we're gonna do. And yeah, this is from a necklace that I'm not too sure what I would use it for. But again, I could turn them into earrings, or turn a couple into earrings, and then a necklace as well. And then I've got these wooden beads. This is a mixture. It's got some beads that are kind of like this. This is from a necklace, so I need to remove these. But yeah, so far that's most of the wooden beads that I've got. I have used quite a lot in other projects. But yeah, it's time to, you know, maybe revisit, I've got my ring here, revisit some of the supplies that you have, and see if, you know, sometimes all it needs is to be organized. And I'll also like to, at some point, but again, I don't need to think about that now, but I could maybe just look at, you know, some of the beads that might go on this Kawandi, because I'm thinking, okay, it's changed from how you was originally going to do it. You've got to add a lot more stitches. And to make it flat, what I generally do is just pile on the stitches, and that flattens it out slightly. So that's what I'm going to do, and then think about what kind of beads might go nicely with it. So maybe even something like this. They're small, they look like they've been handmade by, you know, with clay. That's how they look. So that might actually, the colours go nicely, so that might be something that I put along the edge here. And then I could incorporate these as well, maybe at the top and the bottom. I won't have enough to do the whole thing. And the other thing that I could potentially do is look at each of the characters. That's from my art foamy, and I've just enlarged it. And then see what is the most dominant colour, say, on these, and then find a beads that go with it. It may be that I do a necklace on here, or some earrings, or yeah, it'd probably be a necklace or some earrings and stitches. Yeah, so here I could, you know, find some black and white ones, or one that I've made and just put sort of like something just as a, like a choker or a centerpiece. So I think I'm going to leave it there, because I've got a lot to get on with. I haven't even touched any of the other projects. I don't pull them out. The only other one that I've got, well, there's two actually. So I guess this is the selection of ones to be finished, and I'm just going to continue working on this. So I think I showed you this one. I've got to add stitches to that. I really would love to get these done before the end of the year. Anyway, so I've got to tie this fix these together, do a backing. This one needs a backing or a frame. And then I've got my book that I dip in and out of. And you hear that sound? That's a chick. We've got about 10 bird's nests in the garden now. They've all decided to descend, which is great because the bird song, apart from the I'm hungry chirp, the bird song is delightful. Anyway, so we're going to leave it there, and I'll come back next week and show you what I'm either going to be doing on that day or that I've managed to get done. So take care for now, and I will see you again soon. Very soon.
Come and come.